He is one of the biggest butlers in Chaos Indivism history. He is the pioneer in all things cancer. He is one of many talents amongst all things scripting and City of Heroes private servers. He is Hadet Sonnenkern, and this is his rise of glory, and fall of his infamous foot fetish. It all started on a hot afternoon on October 23, 1987. Our young Hadet was born into a simple farming family consisting of a mother and father that worked very, very hard to make ends meet. Hadet was always a nice young boy, well-mannered, went to school, did what his parents told him to. Never had any fights with any of the other children. Until one eventful day, Hadet would stumble across a peculiar Renaissance painting, The Death of Sardanapalus, by Eugene Delacroix, 1827, in a book he studied for in his art class in junior high. Fondness turned to obsession. Was it the beautiful colors? The glorious painting strokes that made the picture come to life? No. None of that. The answer lay deeper, darker, smellier. The depiction of the woman's disgusting feet sent young Hadet into a lust that would make angels weep even at the thought. Running home, Hadet would run into his bathroom, lock the door, and fantasize about all the sorts of disgusting fantasies with this woman's feet, including pooping on them. But when the deed was done, there was nothing but tears. "I'll never do this again!" cried the young Hadet. If only he knew. In college, years later, Hadet would find many of his love in the current hobbies he has today, including Warhammer 40k and meet his first love, a fat chick by the name of Courtney. Not much is said about Courtney other than that she was fat and Hadet accidentally banged her head into a wooden headboard, almost sending her to the hospital and asking her to eat his ass a couple times. Courtney didn't mind any of these odd requests. One night, Hadet approached her with a heavy blush, almost as if he were nervous to ask her something. "Honey?" Hadet asked. "Yes, my love," Courtney replied through a ruffle in her double chin. Nothing. I love you." Hadet sighed sadly before returning to his homework and painting his 40k Nurgle miniatures. Curious, Big Courtney would approach Hadet about the odd behavior that would span to weeks and months only to be dodged and pushed away, ultimately giving up on the task. One warm summer night, Courtney the whale would awake from her deep sleep to an odd noise, almost as if somebody had broken in. Scared, she reached for her baseball bat under her pillow, flicked on the nightlight, and watched as a dark figure scurried desperately through the third-story window, dolphin diving out and driving off as quickly as it could. Utterly terrified, the woman would look down at her feet, once taking the whiff of spunk. "No, it cannot be." Hadet would commit the unbelievable and had nutted directly under her feet before making his swift getaway to Missouri. Courtney would be found dead the next morning from the nut infecting a cut on her foot. Years later, getting a new job, managing to obtain a new identity to avoid death charges, Hadet needed to get away from it all, finding a game called Second Life, a game where it was rumored that anything was possible. With his mind to feet and his dick in hand, Hadet signed up immediately and downloaded the client. Launching it up, Hadet with a sexy 2007 era 7-foot-tall Amazon avatar would find himself bouncing from sex sim to sex sim in hope to scoring pictures of women's feet to subside his obsession. This would work until something happened that would absolutely change everything. Hadet would meet a fat midget chick at a sex sim called Dirty Talk, a sim that Hadet would oftenly occupy on a daily basis. The two hit it off like it was a match made in hell. They both liked being pooped on, peed on, you name it. The two were perfect. They would go on by exchanging nudes back and forth until the flame of passion became so hot that they decided to meet up. Flying to Arizona to meet with his mistress, the woman would accompany Hadet into her apartment before asking him to sit on the couch and wait for her to get changed into something more appropriate. Agreeing, Hadet took a seat. Nothing odd. Scented candles lit, romantic music playing, but one nice thing that would take a turn for the worst. The midget would push open her bedroom door softly to expose herself in a pink fursuit, collar and all. Shocked, Hadet didn't know what to do. The midget whined at him and wagged her tail seductively while waddling to the bed. Not expecting anyone to know, Hadet would do the unbelievable and force fuck her foot paws. Shocked and terrified, the midget, poop-obsessed furry would plead and scream for him to stop, but Hadet just kept going until he got what he wanted. With the poo-poo-pee-pee furry in tears and begging him to leave and never come back with this disgusting foot fetish, Hadet would leave and fly back home. So ashamed and instilled with fear of rumors spreading about him and what he had just done back in Arizona with the furry midget, Hadet would fly back home. flush his entire friends list, and scurry into the most deepest, most darkest corner of SL to ensure he wouldn't be exposed for foot-fucking furries. The SLMC. Thankfully for Hadet, it would work and make a new face for himself as the furry hater he is today. Since then, there have been many in the SLMC that have told me of the tales of Hadet supposedly having sexual relations with furries, but I didn't believe them. But as a journalist and historian, I made an appointment with one victim that claims to have personally met him in person after having normal sexual conversations of poo-poo and pee-pee. I've had the pleasures of meeting up with this anonymous victim of Hadet's foot offense, and here's a clip of what we filmed. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hiya, my name is, and I first met Hadet about 5 years ago. You know, I didn't always have osteoporosis and postmenopausal depression, but it was on that dreadful Hudson day that I knew my life changed forever. You see, I was out at a bar late one night. I should have been home, but I wasn't. And I met Hadet there. You know, he had his long hair and he looked the way he looked, you know, serving what he serves, Miss Thing, because, you know, girl, a mess. But we went to his house and everything was going fine at first, or so I thought. Bitch, he Bill Cosby'd me. He sure did, because he gave me a drink. My dumbass drank it though. Girl, but when I woke up, his kids were on my feet. And I'm not talking about 10-year-olds, bitch. I'm talking about I woke up to a puddle of some white bullshit all over my toes, bitch. I was traumatized. I was severely handicapped. And I called the police right after I found out what happened because I couldn't believe that this man ejaculated on my feet. I couldn't believe it. By the time the police got here, they told me they couldn't find him. He ran away. That he most likely was in some sewer living his life. So all I want from Hadet at this point is for him to pay my bills, my medical bills, because he gave me syphilis when he nutted on my feet. So if he could just do that, I would so appreciate it. I didn't know he was a serial foot fetishist until that night. And I live with it to this day.
I'm gonna start dissing black people because of you fat ass, you cunt fucker. Nicolia Kamnasov, which is on stream right now, is a black man faggot.
Between his time on Second Life with the SLMC, Hadet has been found to be living a double life in Miami, Florida, under the rapper persona of Puya. Most of his songs are absolute fire, including his one-hit wonder Void, that would score him plenty of bitches with his Cadillac, but, as it always seems, his foot fetish always catches up to him. Hadet, or as the world now knows him as Puya, would be slapped on the internet with alleged claims of sneaking fat chicks backstage during his tours and getting them to kick off their shoes to allow him to sniff and suck on their little piggies while calling him Furry Daddy Diddy, and eventually have them poop on his chest. After all that, we lead up to today. Recently, on October 20th, 2019, Hadet has claimed to being busy and moving about the country alongside other woes on Discord, but we all know the truth. Hadet has personally institutionalized himself to one of those Christian conversion camps in Missouri, close to his home, to finally cleanse his sick obsession alongside speak to Jesus in an attempt to make amends for his past foot sins alongside other foot fetishists. We all wish you best, Hadet. Good luck and Godspeed in your journey to finding peace.